My name is Joe Sacco, and I live in Portland, Oregon. I think of myself as a cartoonist who's using comics to tell journalistic stories. I mean, ultimately, I think of myself as a cartoonist.
I mean, that is not a representational drawing, but on some level, I'd say it's a journalistic drawing because it really does give the flavor of what the place felt like and what those people, how they were acting in that situation.
You know, I didn't think when I started out doing using comics for journalism, I didn't really have a theory behind it. I wasn't sort of thinking in those terms. It's just that I was doing autobiographical comics and I wanted to see what was going on in the Middle East, so I went thinking maybe I'd do a travelogue. But because I'd studied journalism, sort of instinct kicked in, and it just seemed, you know, there were my autobiographical comics in which I'm doing journalism. The biggest disadvantage to doing journalism and comics is the fact that it does take so long. I mean, I'm spending years sometimes doing a story, and if you've got sort of journalistic blood in your veins, you constantly want to leave your desk and go and see what's going on. But I can do that for a couple of months here and there when I'm actually in the field or something like that, but then at some point I have to chain myself to the desk. Well, I mean, the people I've met, they know I'm collecting information, collecting data, and I tell them I'll be quoting them, and often I'll say, tell me when something's off the record, because otherwise mentally I'm always on. And mostly they said, yes, of course, you know, just go ahead, I trust you to sort of give an accurate picture.
Now, this is a story by a guy named Shoba, who is from Sarajevo, and he told me about very heavy shelling in the hills when he was a soldier at the beginning of the Bosnian War. And he told me, it's in the caption, how the shelling was so heavy that he had to hang onto the roots of trees to keep from flying away.
The problem I see for journalism now is really for those journalists who relied on getting things out the next day or the next two hours from now, because now it can be even more immediate than that. So really where journalists should go, if possible, is into longer form, because that's where they could maybe really make an impact now. Because in longer form, it's not about what's being posted now. It's about the bigger picture, the bigger stories. What's next is a book with the journalist Chris Hedges. He's going to be doing some text. I'm going to be doing illustrations and comics, and it's about post-industrial America. It's about those places in America that have kind of really suffering, have fallen out of the limelight completely, and are just going down the drain, unfortunately. And there are people there that are trying to keep that from happening, so we're going to show that, but it's just those places that are forgotten now in the States.